wine is featuring a wine that is for all you bargain hunters out there that are just looking for a daily red to not feel guilty about buying, but still know that it's of pretty good quality. Comes from one of my favorite regions in France for value, the Cotes du Rhone, and it is made by uh, the Perrin family. This is their Cotes du Rhone Reserve 2017, and the Perrin family are famed for Chateau de Beaucastel. Chateau de Beaucastel makes brilliant Chateauneuf de Pop that they've owned for over now 5 generations. And this wine also comes off their vineyards. 60% of it is made of Grenache from their Prébois vineyard in Orange, more or less kind of a little bit more southerly in the Rhone Valley, but as you work your way further north up the valley, another 20% of it is Syrah, and another 20% of it is rounded out by Mourvèdre as well. This grape combination works pretty well, especially for the 2017 vintage, because 2017 was surprisingly hot, a more quote-unquote California vintage for the Rhone Valley, which means that you'll find pretty good richness and density of fruit on the less expensive wines from the Cotes du Rhone. So look for warm vintages when you're searching out, just the less expensive stuff. Because you're not going to age it. You're not planning on aging it. You're just looking for some nice intensity, some nice fruit flavor, nice power to it. But let's try it before we get too deep into all that. First off, color is just kind of a medium intense purplish ruby, fairly young wine still for 2017. Aromatically, it is, I'd say, medium to medium plus, more medium intensity, ripe cherry fruit. It has a slight, I have to say, slightly kind of bubblegum note to it as well. The Rhone Valley is known for occasionally doing a little bit of carbonic whole cluster maceration, like Beaujolais, and because of that, it tends to get that kind of candied bubblegum, double bubble, pink bubblegum note to it, I find, at least. But yeah, definitely Grenache. Lots of nice, ripe, red, purplish fruit there. Kind of raspberry-like, very soft, very supple. Big leafed herbs, lots of kind of like basil on that. A little bit of cracked pepper as well. Probably from the Syrah. Now the back label says that it's completely done in stainless. I do know, according to their website, that they oak barrel aged half of it as well. So there is certainly like a light tobacco note, but it's fairly mild because these are all used, probably second, third use barrels from their Chateauneuf program. But yeah, very pleasant. Just moderate intensity nose. Nice fruit, a little bit of herb. Herbe de Provence, as they say. Palate's dry, with actually really pleasant, fairly bright acidity coming off of that Syrah. More, actually, I'd say almost pushing on medium plus acidity. Pretty mouth-watering in a good way. Tannins are there. The Mourvèdre definitely provides a little bit more beef and backbone to it. But they're, just nice, just fleshy tannins. A little bit of dustiness to them as well. Almost jerky-like tannins. Kind of like dried meat tannins. Bodiums, it's medium plus body. There's a touch of fullness there. There's a little bit of weight. It's fairly pleasant. The alcohol is warm. It's 14.1% alcohol, which technically makes it high, according to the WSET standards, but it's not hot in any way, shape, or form. The fruit's definitely on show here. The acidity kind of cleans up any of that heat that's there and just makes it kind of, something you want to keep going back to more and more and more and more and more. On the palate, flavor profile, it's not going to blow your socks off. It's, I'd say, medium intensity, like the nose. It's present. It's got fairly moderate length as well. It's just not going to knock you out of the park, basically. It's just meant to be kind of like ripe fruits, ripe red fruits, plum. The Mourvedre definitely provides a nice little darker fruit core to it, a little bit like licorice touch that happens there. A little anise sort of thing going on. It's got a nice little like extra layer because of the Mourvedre, that 20%. And Mourvedre from warm vintages can be quite interesting, quite good. A grape that comes from Bandol typically, and only can be grown in some of the hottest sites in the Rhone Valley and in other parts of the world because it just needs that much heat to reach full ripeness. So yeah, nice little component of that. The Syrah's there with a lot of nice red cherry fruit, a little dried, fruit leather going on there. But again, wine just kind of comes, boom, there's this nice hit of fruit, a little bit of extra spice and herb going on, and then wraps up pretty seamlessly after less than a minute or so with the finish. So I would put this at good quality. It's not outstanding, it's not world-changing, but for what it is, it's extremely enjoyable. I would definitely recommend it as just a good daily drinker. I found this at Trader Joe's for $9.99. You could probably find it for more or less in other places. So killer value if you're just looking for a daily red that you're not going to feel guilty about cracking open. It's also screw cap, which is always nice. You can just close it up, pop it in the fridge if you didn't finish it that day, and keep going from there. But yeah, this would be great with like some cold cut sandwiches. You could even try it with Mexican food. The tannins aren't too aggressive. They could actually handle a little heat since there's that softness and a little bit of that carbonic sweetness going on, and the ripeness is there. The fruitiness is there that you could pair it against some slightly spicier carnitas or beef, that sort of thing. Burgers would be happy here too. Pretty much most cheeses, appetizers, or honestly just on its own. It's a nice little hit of sunshine from the Rhone Valley. So there we go. Famille Perrin and their Cotes du Rhone Reserve 2017. Don't age it. Maybe got a year or two to go. Drink it now. It's just bright, joyful little wine.